so it's been a while. I haven't done an update in a while, so I want to take this time to kind of show you around everything that's been new and under development, and let's take a look. So this is the yard. It's been redesigned. So I have a runaround track here. It used to just be one line in, and now I've got two coming from the main line out here. It divides right there, and then it branches off. And there's my favorite part of the entire layout, which is this track that runs through by these three industries and then back out to the main line over that little bridge, and back to the main line way back there, which is a lot of operational fun. And I'm thrilled that I put that in, and it's, like I said, it's my favorite section. So this is the yard. It's pretty basic and pretty standard. I've got, these are two dummies at this point. They're two old Athearn Blue boxes that I had as a kid. Actually, I think there's a motor in here. Yeah, there's a motor in the New Haven, but I had to swap out a decoder for the F7, which isn't prototype to New Haven lines, but I love that locomotive, and so I custom painted it to look a little bit more like the FL9s in the front. If you're familiar with the New Haven F7A by Athearn, they do not look like that in the front. I think the orange line comes the other way towards the front, and there isn't the orange on top. So I added the Walthers detail kit for the F7A unit, and I'm almost done with that. I think I have a couple more things to add onto it, but it's pretty nice, and it doesn't run too bad. And at some point I'm going to probably upgrade the motor, as it's an original 1980 something blue box. And so this is coming out of the yard onto the main line, and this is just a little siding here. I'm not sure exactly what this is going to be yet. And that locomotive is my newest addition. It's a lifelike S1, which was quite a technical feat for me to get running, as they have a ground issue when you convert them to DCC, and installing the decoder into a tiny locomotive was a challenge for me, as that was my smallest that I had done to date. So so these are the two lines that come around, and this is my city. I've done a lot of little detail things, adding signs, as I'm currently still working on adding building signs and figuring out what kind of buildings these are going to be. I've got a paint store and a drugstore there, and that's going to be a barber shop at the end on the corner. I've got a comic store and a cafe on the other side of the street, followed by a music store and a bookstore, and then a corner cafe. I've added some other details like the fencing, and I scratch built the railroad crossing signs here, which were kind of a challenge, but fun as well. I think they may be a little large to scale, but I think they work. This one's probably a little too high, especially being in the foreground of the layout, but I'm pleased with it so far. And coming around to where the line splits, got some more fencing. Did a tissue and glue tarp that I need to kind of finish up. It was originally a load on one of the flatbeds, but I've upgraded and improved my design on those, so I can show you that. Coming around the two main lines, going behind the town here. Still lots of detail to go, but you know, that's the fun of the hobby, all the little things. Need some lamp posts and utilities. Coming across the inside loop. Again, I've got the railroad crossing signs, which have, I think they work up okay up here. And finishing, kind of detailing these houses coming down the street, adding the gravel, and chipping away at some of the ground to get a driveway in for this business here, which I have yet to decide what that's going to be. I keep forgetting about that one. Adding more and more turf and greenery, just layering up, and I'm anxious to get started on a DIY static grass applicator. Parts are in the mail. I put a cycle shop up here. It's not focusing on there, but it's Danvers cycle. So coming back down, around, going across the river, and added a lot more shrubbery around the tunnels. Still a lot more work to do on here, but I think once I get the static grass, that'll help. And then I need, the next step is trees, but I figure the first step would be static grass and then trees, so I'm kind of holding off. I do have some that I've made from actually hydrangea bush. These are all hydrangea that I have modeled to scale the best I can. Some of them look better than others, but they actually work pretty well. Dried old hydrangea blooms. So that's kind of my tip of the day. Coming around the back, this is just my paint area, painting. Been working on for 5 years. You can see the 2 loops underneath the hill here. And then coming around, there's 2 industries in this section. The oil industry, and I'm not really sure what to make this one yet. I have yet to decide, and this area needs a lot of work. And then coming back, looking back up the yard to from this siding, or this this branch line here that goes back into the yard at the top. It's kind of a cool view. And then these are some scratch-built loads that I had been working on with the tarps and tying them down. And then I've done some pipe loads as well, which I'm pretty pleased with. Took a lot of time, but I think they look pretty decent. And then 2 gravel loads, one more coarse and one more fine. The fine one I can't get to sit really in there as well as I would like. You can kind of see it's kind of coming up on the corners there, if it would focus on me. So it could be better, could be a lot worse though. So that's pretty much it. Just a lot of greenery here and there. Every week I'll spend an hour or so just adding more and more greenery and turf, and just building up the layers slowly. So that's pretty much it. Take another look at the whole layout from the back. All in all, I'm pretty pleased with how it's coming out, and adding the little details. And then I'm assuming hopefully soon, within the next 2 years, I can extend into this area. And I have been coming up with many different plans for this area, whether it's a yard, just a end and back, or whether it's a full loop, kind of making this one large loop, and then figuring out if I'm going to have 2 lines that run through here. Essentially what I would do is break these 2 lines from this section here, so they would, the 2 tracks coming across the bridge would just come straight across. And then these 2 lines would just come back here. So essentially I'd get rid of this curve, and they would just, essentially you wouldn't see that curve, and they would just, instead of curving to the left, they'd curve to the right. And then come across here, and then across. I'd have to make like a dropout so that we can get to the electrical box. So that would be a kind kind of an engineering challenge for myself. But so that's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed the little tour, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for stopping by.